To score high on IELTS listening, you must know what types of questions you will see and have a strategy for solving them. And this is what you will learn in this video. I will talk about all the question types you will find in IELTS listening and give you strategies for solving them. By the way, if you're going to take your IELTS soon, check out my IELTS courses. There I teach you everything you need to score high. I show you step by step how to give high scoring answers. And of course, we do many practice tests together, so you will feel confident for your test. You can find the link to my courses in the description box. And now let's get started. There are 8 basic types of questions. We will start with multiple choice questions that require you to pick one correct answer. In IELTS listening, multiple choice questions have 3 choices. You need to select the correct answer. The questions can be formed in 2 ways. One is a question with 3 possible answers. For example, like this one. The other style is a sentence that isn't complete, and the ends of the sentence are the answer choices. These questions may ask about details of the text, but they may also ask about opinions or attitudes of the speakers. They could be summarizing main ideas too. So how do you find the correct answers for multiple choice questions? First, read the question before the speakers start talking. Remember that the answers are often paraphrased, so start thinking about different ways to say the words too. When solving these questions, look for differences in the answer choices. For example, what is the difference between these 2 possible choices? A. The library will be closed on Tuesdays starting next month. B. Next Tuesday, the library will be closed for 1 month. Do you see how the choices are similar but not the same? Choice A means that the library will be closed every Tuesday. That new policy will begin next month. However, choice B means that the library will be closed for a period of 1 month. That period will begin next Tuesday. In other words, the choices may appear close, so it's up to you to show off your language skills and select the one that matches what you hear. Now, let's have a look at multiple choice questions that require you to choose multiple answers. The structure of these questions is similar to the regular IELTS multiple choice questions. They have either a question with answers or a sentence that you need to complete using choices that are sentence endings. However, there are more than 3 answer choices, and the instructions tell you to choose more than one answer. One of these questions might look like this. There are a few things you need to know about a question like this. First, the information is in the same order as you will hear it. In this question, if you hear the person talking about Greece, you know that the discussion of Morocco is over. This is super helpful because if the speakers didn't talk about Morocco before, you know that Morocco can't be one of the correct answers. The other important thing to know is that the speaker often changes the answer after stating it. So you need to listen carefully to everything. Don't only listen to keywords and move on. This is a common trap in IELTS listening, guys. The IELTS uses this trap to check whether you understand everything the speakers are talking about. So don't fall into this trap. For instance, the speaker might say, I was thinking about conducting studies in Portugal. While you're listening to this, you may think, great, you see Portugal, so mark that the researcher did studies there. However, if you keep listening, there is an important addition. The speaker says, but I could not get the correct permits, so I changed my mind and did the paperwork for Greece. So the correct answer seems to be Greece, not Portugal. Keep listening though. The speaker goes on saying, the paperwork was lost and I did not have enough time to file again. So I ended up visiting a friend in Italy and using that as my base for the experiments. Now you know that one of the correct answers is Italy. It's not Portugal nor Greece. In other words, you must listen to the whole audio because the speaker often changes the meaning. This trap can easily lower your IELTS listening band score. And one other point. After finding a correct answer, don't stop listening. Lots of test takers are relieved and forget that the question asked for 2 answers or more. Follow the instructions and make sure you pick all correct answers. By the way, if you want more IELTS listening videos, hit the like button and write yes in the comments. If you want something else, tell me your video wish in the comments so I know what you would like to see on this channel. Now, let's check out 6 more question types you will find on IELTS Listening. Short answer questions are questions with no choices to choose from. Instead, you have to write your own answer based on the listening. A short answer question may look like this. Write no more than 2 words and/or a number. What time will the lecture start? Note that these questions give specific directions about how many words or numbers you can give for the answer. That is really, really important. Even if you get the answer correct, it will not be given a point if you give the wrong word count. For example, the answer might be noon. If you write, it starts at noon, you will get the question wrong because that's 4 words, but the instructions ask you to write no more than 2 words and/or a number. If you write 12 like this, that's a number that means noon, so it's correct. If you write 12 o'clock, that is a word and a number. That's okay too. So to do well on these questions, you must pay attention to how much you can write. And therefore, it's super important to know how the IELTS count words and numbers, because otherwise you will lose points. To learn how to do this, check out my video about how to count words and numbers in IELTS Listening. The link is below. We will move on to sentence completion questions. As the name suggests, these questions give you a sentence with blanks, and you have to complete them. You can see an example here. Question 1. Complete the sentence below. Write no more than 2 words and/or a number. Poison dart frogs are, and here is the gap, for amphibians because they care for their young. To solve these questions correctly, it's extremely important that you read ahead. So make sure you know what the question asks you to do before you listen to the relevant information. If you know what the questions are before you listen, you can predict the answer, which makes it easier to figure out the correct answer. Also note that the finished sentence must be grammatically correct. If not, you will lose points. So you must pay attention to little words like the and a. Use grammatical clues like looking for a noun or an adjective. For example, if you have a closer look at this sentence, you'll realize that the correct answer may be an adjective that shows what the frogs are, such as unusual. The answer is not going to be grow because are is not going to be followed by a present tense verb. If you are unsure, just insert the word you think may go there and see whether it fits. If you insert grow here, you get poison dart frogs are grow for amphibians because they care for their young. That's not grammatically correct, so you know that a verb can't be the correct answer. There is one type of question that looks really different because there is a picture and you have to label the parts. It might be a diagram or a picture. The point of this type of question is to see how well you can visualize a description that you hear. For example, you may get this picture. So what do you have to do? You are given answer choices and must match them to the letters. To do this, you have to interpret what you hear. For instance, the speaker might say, the waste enters the tank through a sewer pipe. At the top of the tank, there is a vent to release gases. The processed liquid seeps out the other side into the soil, which is called a drain field. You must use that explanation to name the parts. Now, let's do this. The speaker says that the waste enters the tank through a sewer pipe. So, the correct label for A is sewer pipe. Then he goes on saying, at the top of the tank, there is a vent to release gases. So vent is the correct label for B, and C must be labeled tank. The speaker also mentions that the processed liquid seeps out the other side into the soil, which is called a drain field. So D must be labeled drain field. If you get such questions, it's extremely important to pay attention to words relating to space, such as at the top, because these words indicate where the label goes. In a flowchart, you will hear order words like next. Usually, the information is clearly stated in a logical order from one side to the other, or from the top to the bottom. So pay attention to the organization of the audio passage. Not all pictures have the parts written in a separate list to choose from, so you will not always get a list with answers. Instead, sometimes you will have to fill in the spaces in the picture, the way you would for a short answer question. In this case, you must listen very carefully to understand which words you have to enter. Next, we are going to have a look at forms, notes, and tables. These questions all have information in word form, though there may be some illustrations with them to make them look a bit different. You have to finish the blanks in the form or table. Here's an example. Do you see the blanks for the whale shark maximum length and the blue whale weight? You need to fill those in when you hear them in the explanation. Note that these often have tricks in listening too. For example, the speaker might say, "A whale shark is huge. It can reach 18 meters long." But 18 is not the answer, is it? The speaker said meters, and this says feet. Keep listening. Many test takers write the first answer they hear, and then their band score goes down. Often, the real answer is in the next sentence. For example, here the speaker might say, "A whale shark is huge. It can reach 18 meters long. That's about 59 feet." So wait until you have listened to all the information that is relevant to the question. Sometimes these questions have a list of answers to fill in the blanks with. Other times, the questions will require you to listen for the correct answer. These questions specify how many words or numbers you can use. No matter what format the information takes, you need to listen for the missing information. As with all the listening questions, that's easiest to do if you read the question before you start listening, because then you know what you have to listen for. Next, we will have a look at summary completion questions. These are common question types on the IELTS listening test because you need to pay attention to the entire passage to complete them. A summary, like the name suggests, is an outline or paragraph that explains the main points of the talk. However, there are missing parts. You have to fill those in, either using a word list or by writing the answers you hear. For example, you may see a summary like this one. Looking at this, you can see that the first blank is probably a noun, since largest living needs to refer to something. It could be blue whales or fish. The second blank has a "the" in front, but marine animals is a noun. You won't see two nouns in a row, so it has to be an adjective. The only one is largest. The third blank is the subject of the sentence, so it has to be a noun too. It's not a pronoun because it's a whole new animal that is not the whale shark. The completed summary looks like this. Whale sharks are the largest living fish. They grow to 59 feet long and can weigh 15 tons. They are not the largest marine animals. Blue whales can grow to 110 feet and weigh 196 tons. Before you go on to the next question, read the summary to make sure your answers are grammatically correct. Make sure you have not included any extra words. For example, if you write "the largest" in the second blank, it's wrong, since "the" is already in the text. Summaries may be intimidating at first, but they focus on the main facts and points of the talk. Often they include the type of information a person would take notes about. So if you focus on the main points, you won't have any problems finding the correct answers. Finally, we will check out matching questions. These include two separate types of information, and you have to put the correct ones together. Here's a matching question. Questions 1 to 4. Which animal matches each description? Choose your answers from the box and write the correct letters A to E next to questions 1 to 4. And then you can see a box with answer choices and the questions. You have to pay a lot of attention to the listening to answer these questions, but they really aren't any harder than a multiple choice question. Notice that not all the words from the box are used though. If you can't get the correct answer, go ahead and guess. Eliminate the ones you know are wrong and choose from the remaining ones. Please note that the questions are in order the way you hear them when listening to the passage, but the answers are random. In other words, the things in the box are in a different order. Pay attention to the order of the questions and be aware of paraphrasing. Note that the answers to these questions are the letters A, B, C, D, or E. Do not write the word like whale shark or you will get the question wrong. If you're curious, here are the correct answers. That's it! These are the question types you will find in IELTS Listening and strategies for solving them. I hope you liked this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you're notified when the next video comes out. Also, share this video with your friends so they can improve their IELTS score too. See you in the next video!